now, everybody. Here we are. We got questions. Everybody's got questions. You know, you're always trying to figure stuff out. It's just kind of a reality. Trick is, don't just beat up on the other people around you because you feel bad. Actually be interested in solving problems and finding solutions. You'll notice that young Ross isn't with us this morning. He is angry at me for our arguments regarding production and the studio board and whether or not it should go through the producer's laptop before it goes to the computer so that the sound can be properly taken care of. We had some issues this morning on sound. My mic was off. So that was a little overwhelming. But our goal is to actually find a place where we can communicate. That in the end, we fight over things that are meaningless. Some people are always on the attack. If you ask a question, it has to be okay that the other person gets to answer. If you're asking a question where no matter what the other person says, you're just going to attack them, you're not asking a question. You're just looking to start a fight. You know, there's a lot of complaints about the amount of content. That I have 11 days before studio is broke and goes under. And so creating content that goes in front of people that raises awareness is what we desperately need. We need our presence on the podcast distribution so that everybody can get to it. We need YouTube because it's just a reality of our world. That as much as the support and love of the people on Facebook matters to us, we have to grow. And for us to grow, the sound has to be right, the video has to be right. I mean, the hard part is, yeah, we need to raise money for additional people to work here. Not the people that are working here. We try and keep it light, but it's a lot of stress. We question what we do. Everybody questions that, even internally, question everything. I question everything as much as I feel the support of so many people. I often question support. I guess that's natural. Question about it. So when I look at it, I think of where's the line of Christmas. I think of the morning as reaching out, connecting the pieces. The next part is doing interviews, private stories, bringing together the connections. So in the end, it built that I think the biggest thing I could do to be sort of crippled, if you will, the challenge. To joke on the show and get along. But admittedly, final time, all of it's out. Couldn't get the button. I guess that's the American way. When in doubt, we have nasty attitude. People don't say they immediately start shouting you down. If you ask a question, every right to ask it. But anybody else has the right to answer. Treat them like they don't have the right to answer. So the arguments are about how we set up. It's really about I don't think anybody believes in what I'm doing. all just a crapshoot. And like this, let's start at our low. I was at my lowest point. And I started figuring out that as long as I felt I wasn't alone, that everybody else was feeling some of this struggle. It's overwhelming sense of dread. And when I looked out at the world, I realized I wasn't alone. I realized how alone that when I look and see just everywhere, children, adults, leaders, this weird show is about trying to figure out so we're constantly frustrated with each other, constantly in a weird battle about things that, for the most part, simply no, we want to take care of each other. No, we're supposed to be good with each other. Everybody knows that. No, we're supposed to actually kill each other. Then, when the fight starts, the anger rises. There's no questions. There's no anybody trying to get an answer out. There's just screaming. All I hear anymore is screaming. And when I see that building on fire, it's global insanity. How can I not try to do something? It's the basics. In other places, it didn't act like they were just some random people. Not. bottles expensive when it's free. You know what I mean? In the sense that I get, oh, somebody turned off the sound on us on top of it all. That's awesome. That's awesome. Dup, dup, duh. Oh, there it was. Yeah, it was just my sound turned all the way off. Sweet. What a jerk move. You should have sound now. I hope. I hope. Yeah, now there's sound. Yep, you're right. I went on for however many minutes, trusting the bare minimum, and the bare minimum wasn't even there. You know what? It's a rough show today, guys. It's a really rough show. Because I don't get it. I don't get the temper tantruming. I don't get everybody throwing fits. Everybody pushes everybody else so they can get a reaction, so they can go, so see. For those of you that couldn't hear me, because the producer turned off my sound before he left the room, he is busy being angry. He has a strong feeling about the way sound works in a studio and doesn't feel like it should go through the producer's computer before it gets to the air. I disagree. C'est la vie. The topic of the day is questions. The point is, don't ask questions you don't want answers to. Ask questions and then let people answer them. If you're busy screaming no, no, no at them, you don't have any respect for them. You don't. You didn't want an answer to the question. That's just facts. If you ask a question and want an answer, then a person can give answers. If, though, what you've done is decided to throw a fit because you've decided the only answer that's acceptable to you, you're not asking a question. Now, the reality is I just went through my whole experience. We'll do it again. Why? Because we have people working against us today instead of with us. It's just a reality. It happens. It's going to happen over and over again. The one thing that life has brought me over and over again is don't trust people. Because you know what? They're going to say whatever they want. And if you rely on them, you're going to end up on your ass. So asking people for help, as much as I ask endlessly for help, I know is a waste of my time. Nobody's hearing me. I started right around now a year ago, writing down how bad it was and how low I was. In going to get help, I discovered that feeling of alone that I felt was something everybody was going through. Everybody. We're all stuck in our heads. The fights we're having with other people aren't even with other people. They're the fights in our heads. You know, some people will hold on to the same fight for 6 months on end. And instead of doing any research or instead of putting any effort into it, they will just scream at you. And it won't matter. I thought that when I realized this, that we're not as alone as we feel, that this is a shared experience, that this was something I could share, that could maybe make some difference, some change, something. You know, I find myself asking again and again, what would success look like? How would I define where getting there? I don't think of a getting there. At the same time, I'm trying not to have attachments to the things I'm doing. Funny, isn't it? Let me put this all out there and then just hope.
a wing and a prayer, if you will. This week, all of the people that have, decided they needed to be mad at me or yelled at me were here. They were in Gehenna. Even the hotel in Gehenna was not supportive. Don't get me wrong, I called Africa, they were supportive. I called Russia, they felt like they shouldn't talk about those things, but they were supportive. I called Spain, supportive. Ghana, Guyana, Tijuana, yes, all supportive. All enjoyed the idea that we could talk. That for the first time in history, you can reach out across the world and talk. So when I look at this, I see it as the pieces. Where's the line as we start off examining where people find those lines where they're constantly butting up against each other. The morning show is about the idea that we want to reach out. We want to share. Everybody gets up in the morning. Everybody deals with the weather. And it's fun. It's a little lighter. It's a little more, hey. Now, part of the fight today was over the fact that Matt wants too much content. I'm trying to put content out that will spread. So when I call other countries, yep, I mentioned the studio, as some people may have noticed. And I also were really wanting to add guests, more guests. And that's a piece we're working on for next week. If we might have a producer then. I don't know. I don't know what's going on with this or what this behavior means. He's my friend. He's one of the closest people in my life, and I care deeply about his outlook. I'm a little overwhelmed, though. My goal is to keep everybody okay on top of all of this. Oh, and by the way, all the rest of it. Yeah, I have questions. Why is it nobody's interested in my stuff? I get it. I'm supposed to support everybody else's stuff, and I do, because I believe in everybody. Inside, though, there's that moment where I realize the closest people to me aren't that interested. That even the person I'm doing it with, I have to push to be in this situation. That all the pieces that would contribute are too much to ask. And as opposed to it all ends in a screaming match with him screaming at me and saying all kinds of things that aren't even true. And I don't know how to deal with that. I know that what I want is to be able to put a show on for everybody that's meaningful. I get it. We all have questions. But sometimes you got to pull together. Sometimes you've got to pull together. I definitely wouldn't turn somebody's sound off right before I left the room, knowing I was purposefully trying to screw him over. I don't understand. The reality is I have questions. I have so many questions. It's going to be a short show today, guys. Not because I couldn't go on and on. Not because I couldn't go back through all of my feelings about why this is important or why I'm trying to do what I'm doing. Because I have questions. I have a lot of questions.